This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. So is everyone ready?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Surender, Dilip, Ravi. Okay. Yeah, we'll start. So yeah, so we understand that Spring ORM module for Spring ORM, right? In Spring ORM, they given integration with Spring ORM given integration with JPA Hibernate. With JPA also integration they have given. Integration with Hibernate also they have given. We understand how to use Spring JDBC and we understand all the best practices. We have to use connection pool, using connection pool, how to use Spring JDBC classes like as we have JDBC template. We understand how to use JDBC template for doing CRUD operations and named parameter JDBC template also we see for doing CRUD operations. Apart from that, if you want to use Hibernate, how Hibernate works? How Hibernate works? In general, right, when we implement a use case, when we submit data from use, the data will be populated directly as an object into controllers. Okay, earlier while using servlets, we used to read data using request.get parameter of name, email, address. We need to read each and every parameter and we need to finally load it into our bean. But when we use Spring MVC or Spring Boot or Struts framework also, right? Directly when we click on a button, directly data will be populated into your bean itself. That support we have from framework. Directly data will be loaded into your bean. Just you need to send your bean to service to DAO. Now DAO when it wants to save your bean into table, when it wants to save your bean into table, if it is a JDBC, you need to write the query and you need to read the data from bean and you need to save it. As a Java developer, you need not to worry about the SQLs here if you go with Hibernate. So you just need to give your student bean object to Hibernate. Whatever data you are getting, right? That bean object you need to give it to Hibernate. Hibernate will directly save it into your table. We understand that how it will happen, right? How this is going to happen. So when we have a bean class, when we want to save it into a particular table on a particular database, first thing that what we need to do is we need to create a mapping file. In that mapping file, we need to mention where your bean is going to save, in which table you need to save it. So the table name we need to mention bean name and the table name so that Hibernate will understand, okay, when you try to ask Hibernate save this bean, it will understand, okay, I need to save record into this particular table. And as well as each column mapping also we do. Each column mapping also we do by using property tag. So each property of my bean wants to map to so and so column in that particular table. So each property and column mapping also we do through this mapping file only. Through this mapping file only we do that mapping as well. Now Hibernate know where this data need to be saved. And apart from that, it needs credentials of your database also, otherwise it cannot able to connect, right? So we create a configuration file. There we provide all the connection configurations. Even in Hibernate we have connection pool support also. We can configure connection pool property as well. Apart from this, auto DDL feature also we have. HBM to DDL yesterday I showed you, right? Auto DDL support also we have. Automatically tables it will create. You need not to create, Hibernate will create. Consider your application is having 10 tables. When you design for the 10 tables, 10 bean classes and 10 mapping files, when you run your application first time, right, by reading your 10 mapping files, it will create 10 tables into your database. For the first time, if you want to create, you can enable this auto DDL so that all the 10 tables will be created into your database. So that you need not to create tables first. Hibernate will create. Hibernate will create tables into your database. Okay. And for doing this save operation, update operation, delete operations, right? We have many methods here in Hibernate. We have many methods. Just if you want to save, the main important class that we use for doing CRUD operations is session class. How you will get session from a session factory. Session factory dot open session method we use to get a session object. This is like a connection object. You can more likely like a connection object. This is like a connection object, but it has more capabilities. So if you want to save the record, session dot save, here you need to pass your bean object. So then directly it will save your record. And there is one more alternative method also, session dot save, session dot persist. There is one more method name called persist. Using this method also you can save. And for doing delete operations, we have a delete method. And for doing update operations, session dot you can call update method. And you need to pass just bean. You need not to write any SQL queries. And we have a get method for doing select operations. We have a get method for doing select operations. You can pass get your bean dot class name, comma primary key. What is the ID of your record? Just you need to give it. So using get method, you can able to get your record associated to that particular bean, or else by using load method also you can do that. You can use load method also. So as I told you, get is a early loading method. Get is a early loading method. It will load record, or it will do the select operation when you call this itself. Whereas in load, load will not immediately fire SQL query until unless you call non-primary key getter method. It will not do any select. So this is we call eager, and this we call lazy. And this is the lazy. Okay. Apart from this, if you want to use HQL queries are Hibernate query language. Instead of using SQL, we use HQL. HQL queries we write on top of bean. On bean we write these queries, not on the table. Okay, you need to remember this. HQL queries we write on bean, not on the table. So when you want to select all records, we use query like this from your bean class, from bean. So internally what it will understand? It will understand that, okay, you need select the star from that associated table. Whatever table you mapped for that particular bean, right? On that table, it will do select star operation from bean. And if you apply from bean where condition, where bean property, where some XYZ property you have in the bean. So in bean you have an ID. So the bean ID equal to something. If you give like this, internally it will understand select star from table where a column ID, on column ID it will apply the select operation. Okay, so this is how HQL queries we should write. This is how HQL queries we should write. HQL stands for Hibernate Query Language. So these are independent of database queries. Okay, these are independent of database queries. So we are not writing any database table name or any database column names here. Internally, Hibernate will do that conversion. It will take care of identifying the table and forming the select query. Okay, so this is how we can use SQL operations. Now, these are the basic save operations or basic CRUD operations that we do. In case if you want to do mappings, okay, in case if you want to do mappings, okay, in case if you want to do mappings, in which scenario these mappings are required, in which scenario you need these mappings. Generally, we create tables with these mappings. Okay, so there are four types of mappings. Okay, one to many mapping, one to many, One is one-to-many mapping, and many-to-one mapping. Many-to-one mapping. Database side only we maintain this. Okay, one-to-many, many-to-one, and one is many-to-many mapping. Many-to-many mapping, and the other one is one-to-one mapping. One-to-one mapping. We'll tell you about each. So when we use this one-to-many mapping, when we use this one-to-many mapping means when you have use case like this, when you have a use case like this, okay. So you are log into your online shopping application. There in one single order you want to place multiple items. Okay, you logged into Amazon and you are trying to purchasing multiple items. You added multiple items to your cart, like one mobile phone, one mobile case, one from multiple vendors, and you added one uh, mobile stand. Like that, you are trying to adding multiple items into your cart and you purchased it finally. Okay, so you purchased in a single order. Okay, you will have one order. Finally, right, your data will be saved into order table. Finally, your data will be saved into order table and items also, order list also, order table. In order table, right, it will maintain your order ID when you created that order. Okay, order details and payment details, everything will be updated in the order table. And order list, what all things you ordered, order list also it will create. Order list, it will save it into another table, order list. In that order list it will save the item one, what you purchased, phone. You purchased a phone, and one more item you purchased on the same order, phone case. And in the same order you purchased one more item, phone stand. So like this, multiple items I have purchased. On which order? This order. I have made a order. Order number is something 1 2. Order description. Okay. Something Republic Day sale or Independence Day sale, something. Order description and payment he made through Phone Pay, something, or Amazon Pay. Amazon Pay he used for doing this order, or some ICICI card he used. All that order details I'm saving it into the order table. When you purchase this, right, order list also will be created. Here it will maintain your order ID also. Order ID will maintain as a foreign key here. Foreign key, as a foreign key it will maintain here. Order ID will be maintained as a foreign key here. So here it will maintain on which order he placed these products, phone and phone case and phone stand, all this placed as part of this order ID only. Then using this order ID we can inspect what is this order means. So this order is Independence Day sale order and he paid through Amazon. So this is how when you want to save records, one record into one table and the same record you want to map to list of other records into another table. Okay, we use this one to many mapping, which means one record of this table, is having multiple records association in a other table. One record is associated with multiple records here. When you have when you have such use case, you need to use one to many mapping. Okay, so from Java side you have two tables. From database side, order table, order list table. Same way you need to create two tables from Java side also, one order table and one order list table. One order table and one order list table you need to maintain from Java side also. Same with many to one mapping. In case of many to one, same thing. This same, right, order list with order table. One order or each order is associated with one order here, each order list. If you see from this side, okay, if you see from order list side, each item, phone is associated with Independence Day sale order, phone case also associated with it, and phone stand also is associated with it. If you see from right hand side, order list side, many items in this order list, we have items, right? Many items associated with single order, then we can call it as many to one. If you see from left hand side, one order is having multiple items, multiple items are having one order, multiple items, one order. One to many, many to one. From left to right, one to many. From right to left, many to one. So if you want to maintain the dependency in a reverse way, you can maintain also. You can maintain it also. One to many to one, both are same. What about many to many? What about many to many? In case if you have, already existing records, okay? If you have already existing records, consider you have, you have movies here, you have movies list here, and you have heroes list here. We have heroes list here, movies list and heroes list here. We have heroes list here. Okay, so now I want to make multi-starrer movie. So that movie and heroes mapping I want to do into that multi-starrer movie who acted. So I have a movie name here, Triple R. Heroes list I have here, NTR and Charan. I have heroes list here. So now, how do I map? Okay, one movie, 2 stars. But same star can be acted in multiple movies. Okay, same star can acted in multiple movies. So here I have another movie. Okay, here I have, consider if you have another movie, Bahubali or something. Okay, movie 2. I have one more movie. In this movie 2, only NTR acted. Okay, in this first movie Triple R, NTR and Charan acted. And coming to movie 2, only NTR is part of this project. Okay, if you see relation this side, right? Movies side, one movie is having multiple heroes. Okay, Triple R is having multiple heroes in heroes table. If you see from heroes side, one hero is having multiple movies also. If you see these tables or these records, one record can associated with multiple records of heroes table. One hero record can associate with multiple records of movies table. When you have such relationship, two tables are not enough. Two tables are not enough. We will create one more table for doing this mapping. One more table we create. In that one more table, what we do? Movie ID we maintain along with hero ID. Movie ID along with hero ID we maintain here, and we put their mapping here. Movie ID 1 Triple R, hero ID 1, he acted. Movie ID 1 Triple R, hero ID 2, he also acted. Okay, movie ID 2, hero 1 acted. So we create one more third table. In that third table we maintain these associations, movie to hero associations. So that third table is required in case of many to many mapping. In case of many to many mapping, third table is required because if I have primary key of this movie here, movie ID and movie ID 2, if you want to maintain it as a foreign key here, for NTR you need to maintain two foreign keys, 1 and 2. At a time we can't maintain two foreign keys. So that's why it is not possible. To maintain one table primary key into another table as a foreign key when you have many to many relationship. Okay, you need to create a third table. In that third table you need to create the mappings records in case of many to many only. When it comes to one to one mapping, if you take this example, I have voters list example here. I have voters list here, and I have polling. I have polling table here. Polling table I have here, and voters list I have here. So here I have one voter ID 123 something, and his name ABC. 124, his name LMN. 125 XYZ. So in case of this scenario, 1-to-1 mapping, one voter should cast only one vote here. Polling ID something. This is the polling ID. You need to cast a vote. I casted vote to something XYZ party or B party. Okay. So this is the voter polling ID and this is the party ID or party name and who casted vote for him. 1, 2, 3. Can he cast one more time for some other party here? CPB. Again, can he cast vote here? No. If you allow this as a foreign key, indirectly your table is allowing to cast a duplicate vote. You should not make it as a foreign key. If you allow it as a foreign key, you can repeat this ID multiple times in the table. From the backend side, right, from table, if somebody update records, dummy records, the voter polling data might be updated. So it will allow if you use the same ID here. So if you want to restrict it, what you can do while casting vote, instead of using this voter ID as a foreign key, as a polling ID, if you use as a polling ID, if you use 1, 2, 3, and if you make it as also a primary key. So this 1, 2, 3 guy came here to cast vote here. Again, if this 1, 2, 3 guy try to cast vote for some other party, it will not allow as this is primary key. So in case of 1-to-1 mapping, what we do, in case of 1-to-1 mapping, here we create a primary key, the same primary key we use in another table as well. So that primary keys are not duplicated at any cost. So this ID will map only one time here because both are primary keys. One record of voter table will be mapped to one record of polling table only. One record of voter record will be mapped to one record of polling table. One record of this voter record will map to one record of polling record. So this is what we call 1-to-1 mapping. Okay, these many types of relationships we will have in database: one to many relationship, many to one relationship, many to many relationship, and 1-to-1 relationship. If we have such relationships, how to maintain it? How to maintain that relations from Java side, particularly in Hibernate. Let us see example for each case. Okay. So first, one to many relationship. One to many relationship. Let us try to understand. So here I am taking example of department and employee. One department can have multiple employees. Okay. So one HR department ID, one HR with the department name HR department employees. Number of employees can be there in HR department. Coming to IT department, number of IT employees can be there. Admin department, number of admin people can be there. So one department can have number of employees. So what you need to do, you will have one department table and you will have an employee table backend side. Okay, I'm talking about backend side. Okay, now this employee association you want to maintain, right? Multiple employee records can be part of one department. So you can create set of employees here. What is the benefit if you add here? When you fetch a department from table, when you do this, right, when you fetch a department, let's say when you want to see all the employees from HR department, when you get HR department record here, associated employees records also will fetch. Okay, Hibernate will do what? When you fetch a department, all the associated child records also it will fetch by default. You need not to do any special query for that. Automatically it will bring them. So that's the reason we associated that here. The same thing you need to maintain in the mapping file also. So here I have employee mapping file, employee map to this table, and employee ID map to this ID, name map to this name. Okay. Now coming to department. So department ID you need to maintain and department name. Coming to one to many. set we have, right? Set of employees are mapping to this bean. So this is the employee bean. They use this department ID as a foreign key. While creating this employee table, what we are saying, in employee table, create this department ID as a foreign key. When you use AutoDDL, automatically it will create. Department ID primary key will be maintained as a foreign key in your employee table. You didn't mention here. It will create 4 columns only. Apart from these 4 columns, one more extra column will be created. This one as a foreign key. Okay, as a foreign key, it will be created. Now just do this. Change this to admin and HPM to DDL. I want to create tables. Okay, now I created one department record, multiple employees records. Set this multiple employees records. Set this multiple records into one department record. Okay, I created a set. Into that set, I added multiple employees, and finally, you add that set into department. Finally, when I save department, what is happening? It will save department records as well as employees records. Everything will be saved. Just I'm saving department, but inside department, what I have department record and as well as department dot set employees. We are adding a set. Inside set, we have employee 1 and employee 2 also. So both the records also will be saved. Try run it. We need to create 2 tables, one department table and one employee table. Okay, finally inserted. Insert into department table 1 record inserted, into employee table 2 records inserted. You can go and verify. Select star from department. You see one department inserted, manager. Select star from employee. We created 2 employee records, right? Employee map to this employee table. Employee.
I mean, they're in
Oh,
update today.
update. Okay. So I think we need to add some additional property here. There is an attribute called cascade all. Will it do insert? Let me retry. Yeah, cascade all. We need to apply cascade. So with cascade, what we are trying to asking is insert the associated data also. If you apply cascade, it will insert the associated data also. Until unless you apply cascade, associated records will not be fetched and it will not be saved. So apply cascade all. Now it is inserted. Okay, 2 associated records also it is inserted. 1 department inserted and 2 employees records also got inserted. Okay, so this is how one to many works. Same way, many to one. Many to one in a reverse way. One employee will have one department, multiple employees will have same department, same bean. But if you see, I'm not associating with employees with department. Now I associate department with employees. Inside employee, I'm maintaining one department. Of course, one employee will work on one department only, but multiple employees will have same department. If you want to maintain relationship from employee side, you can maintain it. If you want to maintain relationship from department side, you can maintain it. So whatever way you want for your use case, you can maintain it. So if you maintain it from employee side, it is like many to one, because many employees will have one department. If you want to maintain from department, one department will have multiple employees. You can go with any way. Okay. Now if you see this department mapping, we are not mapping foreign key here, but here we do that. Many to one, we are saying department table, department id I need as a foreign key here. Again, same table structure. Table structure is not going to change. Only the mapping and association will change from our Java side only. Otherwise, everything is same. Again, same thing. Same manager, same employee, same insights. But now what we need to do here, we should not save department, because we didn't associated anything with the department. We are saving employee only. Employee. Two employees are saving. Two employees are having same department only. So what will happen? Same department only will be inserted. Hmm. Okay. Password. Excuse me. No, we'll tell you the problem. Okay. So here it inserted employee 1 record, employee 2 record with same department ID. I hope while inserting department record, unique key violation is happening, because you are trying to inserting department multiple times. One, two. Why? Because we are not dropping the tables. Existing tables only we are creating, right? We are using. That is the reason. Let's drop the tables and create. Okay, now fine. So one department record inserted, two employee records inserted. Same stuff. Same department, same employees. But the relationship we changed from department side to employee side. That's why one employee will have one department only, but multiple employees will have one department. So that's why many to one. Okay, same example, but we changed the association from different angle. Okay, now coming to many courses and students. This is also one fair example. One course can have multiple students, and one student can have multiple courses also. One course can join multiple students. One course can have multiple students. One student can join multiple courses also. Okay, when you have such a relationship, right, both sides you can maintain this. One to many from course side, one course many students, so many students association. From student side, one student many courses, one to many, both as having one to many from left to right, right to left. So then we can call it as many to many. So when it is many to many, same mapping, we use set. Courses is having student mapping, student ID you need to maintain, and the relationship is many to many. We are saying many to many, and this is the ID that you need to create as a foreign key, but not in the student table. I mean, this is the student ID, this is the course ID. You need to maintain this course ID, student ID in a third table. Same tables are not capable to maintain multiple foreign keys in a same record, so we create a separate table. From student side also we do the same. We're saying maintain the student ID and course ID in a separate table when we do the CRUD operation. So now it will create three tables, one student table, one course table, and one course student table to maintain the association. So just go here and change the password. And drop and create tables. Now I'm trying to inserting multiple students, student 1, student 2, A, B students, and one core Java. You know, right? You can associate this with multiple students. One course can have multiple students. Okay. So I created a student set. I'm adding 2 students and adding into one course. Okay. One course associated with multiple student is one type. Multiple courses associated with one student. So here we are creating a set and 2 courses, Advanced Java Hibernate added into this set and this set adding into this student, right? One side multiple students into one course, in another side multiple courses into one student. Finally, I'm trying to save the one course and one student. One course is having multiple students in this record, and here this student is having multiple courses also. So altogether, one course will insert one course record, 2 students record. This student will record, insert one student record, 2 course records. So altogether, 6 records might be inserted. Insert into course, student, student 3, 4, 5, 6 records inserted. Okay, 6 records inserted and their association. First time this course is having this student dependency, this student is having this course's dependency. Where we save this map, we create a course student separate table, there we insert it, there we insert it. Okay, so there are 3 tables created, one student table, one course table, and one course student table. Now you go and check database, you go and check your database, select the star from student, the student records got inserted, ABC 3 students, and select course table, courses table. So 3 courses inserted here. Select the star from course students. So all the courses and students mappings inserted here. Course ID 1 mapped with student ID 1. Course ID 2, sorry, course ID 1 again mapped to student 2. Course ID 2 mapped to student ID 3. Course ID 3 mapped to student ID 3. This is how a third party table, third table also will be created. There we maintain the student and course relation. 2 foreign keys will be maintained here. Okay, so this is how we maintain many to many association. When you have one to one, same one to one association. Voter and vote. One voter should cast only one vote. So I have a voter record. Voter will be existed first. So I have a voter record, independent record. Voter record is now this voter need to be associated into the vote as he need to cast vote. So one record of voter need to be associated into vote. Voter ID only will be inserted as a voter ID. Both primary keys are same so that we cannot able to repeat the record again. So coming to mapping, here is the voter, voter ID, voter name, address. When it comes to the vote, you need to maintain this voter class ID only as a primary key for vote also. So here we are saying vote ID. Vote ID is a foreign ID. You need to maintain this should be a primary key only. What we are saying is we need to get this property from voter table. So we need to configure the voter bean here, voter property here, so that what it will do from this voter reference, right? It will get the voter ID as a primary key, the same key it will insert here. Okay, both the keys will be same. So this we call as a foreign generator. Foreign generator we use only in case of one-to-one mapping only. Run this example and see. One voter, Set your voter ID, India 1234, Naveen, HYD. And this is a vote table. Party name ABC party. On this so and so date I'm casting vote and set voter. This voter reference I'm saying here. Now finally when I save these records and when I try to duplicate this, okay, again if I try to duplicate this vote, it will not allow. For XYZ party also the same voter trying to cast the vote. If you do that, it will not allow. Strictly one-to-one mapping only it will support. See, non-unique key constraint exception. A different object with the same identifier it is saying. You should not use the same object once again as an association. Unique constraint error you will get. So you cannot cast multiple votes. One voter should cast only one vote only. So that is how the relationship will be maintained. Two records inserted. Voter record inserted and vote record inserted. Select star from voter. The voter record inserted. India 123 is his ID. And when you see vote table, ABC party, and on this date vote casted with this ID, voter ID, same voter ID we maintain as a vote ID also. So as this is primary key, if you want to see the table structure, you can see DESC voter and DESC voter. Voter ID, here this voter ID is primary key. It is saying it is a primary key. If you see vote table also, this voter ID is also primary key. Okay, as both are primary keys, you cannot able to duplicate it. I inserted ID here, the same ID again I'm going to insert into another table. Again it's a primary key. As these both are primary keys, we cannot able to duplicate. That's how, I mean, that is one technique. If you know any other techniques, you can do it, but that is the only one technique. Even using one-to-many also you can maintain it by making your foreign key as a unique key. You need to maintain your foreign key as a unique key so that the record will not be duplicated. Otherwise, this is the best practice that you can use. Okay, so this is how you can maintain one-to-one relationship. Okay, so this is all I want to discuss, and I'll attach all these other examples also. They are not very least priority. Okay, up to here would be enough. The basic Hibernate and the mappings also we understand. We'll go ahead with integration in Spring from Monday session. Okay, we'll bring the same code to Hibernate and we will integrate it there. We'll see how to do the integrations. Okay, with Hibernate, without Hibernate also, using Spring ORM also we can do these mappings and everything. That all discussions we see there. Okay, that's all for today. What I'll do, I'll send all these examples today. Okay, I didn't send it yesterday. I'll send them today. Okay, any doubts so far? Are we good?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, great. So anyway, I'll share you Hibernate material also. If you are really interested, just read that. That is enough. Very simple example. All these examples are self-explanatory, and the material also hand note is very helpful. I'll send that along with these examples and jar files. Okay, during this weekend, just try to practice this CRUD operations. Okay, and the basic mappings also you just record. That would be enough. Okay, and the basic HQL operations if you want to see. While doing your practice, right? Just go and change your database properties here. If you are going to use Oracle driver, configure Oracle driver, Oracle URL, username, password, and the dialect. If it is MySQL, keep MySQL driver URL, username, password, and for MySQL, you need to use MySQL dialect. Change dialect Oracle to MySQL dialect. That's it. The MySQL dialect will work. Okay. So yeah. So just remind me if I don't send by this afternoon. Okay. In our group, uh, I'll make sure that I'll forward the hand note and the examples. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. That's all for today. We'll meet again Monday.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you all. Good weekend. Happy weekend. Bye.
Same to you, sir.